And so when drawing monopsony, start by knowing that there's only one graph. There's only going to be one graph because in monopsony, there's only one firm. That's just like monopoly in your previous unit. And so a perfectly competitive side-by-side is drawn as two graphs because there are many firms. Monopsony is only one graph. So to draw monopsony, we start with price and quantity. Then we put supply and demand in just like so. Demand equals the MRP. That's the standard rule in a factor market or labor market, which is both. The next thing that we do then is we have to add the MFC like so. This is the big difference. The MFC is higher than the supply curve. And this here would be the wage at equilibrium. This would be the quantity at equilibrium. And so in a perfectly competitive world, you might recall it as a side-by-side, we drew over like that. The MFC was horizontal in a perfectly competitive world. In this graph, the MFC is above the supply because this firm is what we call a wage setter. A wage setter is going to look for the wage that most benefits the company. And if they change wage for one worker, they have to change the wage for all. They can't wage discriminate. And so what we end up seeing in a graph like this in monopsony is that this intersect right there is where the MFC equals the MRP. This is the amount of workers that the firm is going to hire. Notice it is less. Secondly, the firm, when they find this point, they're going to look for the supply curve because that equals the people now. And this intersect right there on the supply curve, we dot over. And that is the wage that the firm is going to pay people in a monopsony. So the key to see here is that they're going to pay people less than equilibrium. They're going to hire less than the amount of equilibrium people, but they're going to make these people do all of the ordinary work as if it were equilibrium. So they're going to pay them less. They're going to hire fewer people, but they're going to make them all work harder. This is a monopsony firm. Anybody have any questions about monopsony firms? No? Okay. Well,
Hey, can I get some water real quick?